What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. And today I just wanted to cover quickly how you can think about intros and outros. Really important because they really set the foundation for the beginning of your piece and the end of your piece, right? The way you lead into a main idea and out of it. So I want to use my Disney medley as an example, as a case study. I'll share with you my personal approach and hopefully it gives you a couple of ideas here. So before we dive into the nitty gritty, in case you don't have my on-demand workshop just yet, it's called the Complete Composer's Framework. So if you're watching this video, you're probably a composer or arranger. You want to get better with your virtual instruments and mockups. And this workshop goes through step-by-step how to approach your initial idea all the way to the polished final master. I give you tips and tricks along the way to really get you settled in and incorporate those into your workflow to really benefit your music. I also want to give you my virtual orchestration roadmap there as well to cover the 3-step process I follow every single time I work on my orchestral mockups. And it's just jam-packed, full of super valuable stuff. And I want to give it to you completely free. So you can click the first link in the box below, get access to that by registering for it, and I'll send it over to you right away as a gift for checking out this video today. So with that being said, let's kind of dive in. The way I think about it, intros should basically introduce the atmosphere and the vibe of the upcoming musical material, right? So most likely after an intro, you're going to have an A section like a main theme or something that just sets the foundation of your piece of music. And the intro should lead into that in a very natural way. Whereas the outro kind of has the opposite purpose. Like you've already heard the entire journey of the music from start to finish. So now we can wrap it up in a nice little bow and make it feel like a cohesive, satisfying ending, right? And that's the whole idea. So very simple in concept, but let's have a listen to this intro here. So my first song is A Whole New World from Aladdin, right? So let's hear how we kind of introduce the track and then lead into that song. And then we go into the song in its entirety. So the way I approached this was, first of all, I kind of wanted not something that was long enough that we could have time to appreciate the instrumentation that was coming up, but also not too long that it felt like it was dragging on and we never got to the main idea, right? So in this case, this was actually, I believe, an 8-bar intro. And the intro the music starts on bar 8 or yeah, let's see. Okay, bar 7 actually, but basically it's like anywhere between a 4 to 8 bar intro is pretty standard for most tunes, most songs. For some of this track, I actually didn't even use the click that much either. So if you take a look, you can see it was a pretty standard tempo of 120, but sometimes I would change up the tempo here and there as well. But in this case, I kind of wanted to just rely on the musicality itself, let it just flow. But anyway, so this intro introduces a whole new world in very short snippets, right? The flute starts first. Da, 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 show you the world. And then we have the oboe that responds to that. And then we have the bassoon wrapping up the latter half of that as well, right? So it's very short actually. And the last 2 chords, because we're in the key of F major and a whole new world I wanted to do in F major. So I started in the key of F major. So it's on the 1 chord, right? So it's now set foundational. Then we go to the 4. Instead of going to the 5, we went to the flat 6 and then the flat 7 before resolving then to the 1. So it starts off nice and diatonic and comfortable, but then I also wanted to throw in a little bit of spice there with those modal mixture chords. And that just kind of hints at, oh, maybe it's not all colorful rainbows and super comfortable and predictable all the time. There's some fun stuff happening here too. And that's kind of what I wanted to achieve there with the end of that intro there. But you can see it's relatively short. It leads us into the main theme. And it more or less establishes the instrumentation. So there's harp, there's strings, there's low chords, there's woodwinds, right? So basically informing the audience that this is the vibe, the palette that I'm trying to establish in the first song. And then the outro, let's have a listen. So we end off with See the Light from Tangled, right? So this is the end of the song here. All at once, everything is sung. I think it's different, right? Now that I see. Here's the outro. So we're on the 1 chord. Right, so again, just remember the purpose of the outro is to lead us away from the previous material and wrap things up. So all I did here was I basically did a quick callback to Beauty and the Beast, which we heard just before See the Light. Da, 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 da. That was from Beauty and the Beast, right? And then the second half. Da, 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 da. So I'm calling back to what we just heard before, but the overall tone of it is quite mellow. It's quite warm and comforting, and I'm basically on one chord the whole time. We go to the 4 chord really quickly, but that's in second inversion, so it's still over the E flat. Then back to the 1 chord, 1, back to 4, but still over the E flat because we're in the key of E flat major, and then back to the 1 just to round things off completely. Nice and smooth, and it just decrescendos, tapers away. And that's the whole idea. So you don't want to overcomplicate things, but think of the outro as a small extension of what was just happening before that. All the main musical material has been stated, so now we have a little bit of material, maybe 4 to 8 bars again, to just wrap things up. You can have a sudden ending with the instrument just all cutting off at the same time. You can have them fade away. Some like to re-loop a certain point until it just fades out, right? Like in pop songs. In this case, I wanted a nice satisfying orchestral chord to finish the whole thing. So again, just basically alternating between the 1 and the 4 chords, and then it kind of smoothly just holding that last chord before we fade away. And that's the whole idea there. So I think if you think about it this way, like it's a very simple approach, but the intro and the outro should basically, well, the intro, first of all, should introduce what is about to come up. So it's like a little taste of what's about to happen. So in terms of the instrumentation, use instruments that will show up right after the intro. And you can throw in little ideas here and there, little motives if you want, to create sort of a short melody here and there, right? It kind of gives us a bit of a taste of what's about to come. And then the outro, think of it from the opposite approach. We're trying to wrap things up. So in this case, we can use musical material we've heard previously as sort of a callback. You can have a sudden ending, or you can have a natural like a decrescendo ending that just fades out on its own. It just stops, right? That can really be effective as well. So there's multiple approaches, but I think thinking about the vibe overall, like the feel that you're trying to create in your intro and outro, that's going to really determine the arrangement and the way you put those instruments in to get those results. Okay, so I hope that kind of made sense. Anywhere between like 4 to 8 bars is pretty common, but like a lot of songs, it depends on the structure of it and length, of course, but even just 1 to 2 bars of intro or outro can really work too. In this case, because it was a longer piece of music, it's like 8 minutes long, I wanted to have at least 4 bars of intro and 4 bars of outro to really just milk the beginning and the end, you know? But there really is no right or wrong way to do it. I think you just have to experiment and have fun with it. And again, stay true to what you want the intro and outro to be, because the main stuff in the middle will be the biggest determinant of how you structure the intros and the outros. So stay true to this stuff in the middle is what the point is there. All right, I hope that kind of made sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And I hope you noticed like how natural I try to make at least the intro and outro sound. I want it to feel like a satisfying listening experience all the way through. I wanted the intro to kind of tease you a little bit, give you some short snippets of melodies, and then, you know, throw in the little spice there with the flat 6 and flat 7 with the modal mixture before we hit the main theme of A Whole New World. And then the outro, basically, the whole idea was to just take us out of the journey, wrap it up, and give us a nice long chord to basically finish and end it in a very natural way instead of an abrupt way, right? And so I really took my time there with that last chord. So there we go. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you want access to that free workshop at the Complete Composer's Framework, taking you from the initial idea all the way to the polished final master, I would love to give that to you completely free. Just click the first link below and you can get access to that right away. And again, you'll get that virtual orchestration roadmap in there as well. If you're struggling at all with your orchestral mockups, you want to figure out how to approach it in a very simple, steady way, then I want to give that to you there as well in the workshop. So thank you again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.